Hello, friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Fondin, and I'm the author of Twin Flame Union, the 7 Keys to a Healthy Twin Flame Journey. I'm also the author of Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy, exploring your 7 energy centers with mindfulness, yoga, and Ayurveda. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for subscribing below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. I do readings, 30, 60, and 90-minute readings, twin flame romance, general readings, life path and purpose. You can book that at my website, michellefondinauthor.com. Welcome to the Twin Flame Union series, the 7 keys to a healthy twin flame journey. And today we are doing key number 3, the key to self-love. Yes, this key is a lot more complicated than meets the eye. And in fact, if you want to find out more than this video, make sure to check out this book. But in the book, and that's why I mentioned the book first, right? Normally I mention the book afterward, but the reason I mention it first is because in the book, in the opening chapter to the key to self-love, I put in that book that I thought I loved myself. I thought all throughout that I had enough self-love. Now, I thought this up until about 2019. I always thought I loved myself. I always thought I was giving myself self-love. And that's a huge buzzword, right? Self-love, self-care, hashtag self-care, hashtag self-love. It's just like a big buzzword that is going around today. And I really believe there are a lot of common misconceptions surrounding this concept of self-love and self-care. So yes, self-care can be, for example, getting your hair done, your nails done, getting a massage, taking a day off work to do some rest and relaxation. Sure, that is definitely self-care. And I will tell you right now that when I was raising kids for many decades, oh God, it's almost 3 decades now, but when I was raising kids, self-care was not something I even thought about. It was like caring for the kids first. My needs came last because it was often, here was the hierarchy: kids, work, housework, cooking, cleaning, right? And then maybe me at the very, very bottom. So yes, it could include or incorporate self-care as a part of self-love. Sure, I totally agree with that. However, the problem with the concept of self-love today, when you see it in social media with that little hashtag in front of it, it's often something more egotistical or ego-driven. And in fact, that's not at all what self-love encompasses. It's not an ego-based action, and it's not an ego-based trait that should be within you. And I did do a video on the 3rd chakra, which is integrated with the 3rd key, the key to self-love. And I'll put that link right here so you can check out the solar plexus chakra for twin flames. But I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I thought I had so much self-love. And here's why I thought that. It's because I've always been pretty cognizant of taking care of myself in the way of food and exercise and sleep. So I really thought that that was self-love. I thought, well, if you feed yourself well, if you exercise your body, and if you get adequate sleep, that equals self-love. And self-love goes so much deeper than that. It's really about filling up yourself with everything that you want, need, and desire, but from a deep level, right? It could be some very surface level things, but it's also very deep things like forgiveness, setting proper boundaries, having healthy relationships in your life, saying no to family members when they push you or they ask you to do something that you are not okay with. Having no in your vocabulary is self-love. Many of us who come to this earth as awakened spiritual souls with the need to help and serve others, it's just kind of where our soul has evolved to. So we wake up in these bodies as babies. We're already like, how can I please? How can I help? How can I serve? And it might even start with pleasing our parents, or pleasing our siblings, or pleasing our caregivers as we grow up. And then it evolves to helping others to depletion. And that's something certainly that I spoke about in the second key, which I'll put that link here too. We come as awakened souls, and sometimes we do not have proper boundaries. We do not have a no in our vocabulary. And that's really where the third key, the key to self-love, comes in. It's not only that I take care of myself and have self-love from a surface physical level, but it's that I love myself enough to say no to unhealthy jobs, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy environments and circumstances in my life. It's that I love myself enough to put my self-care first, so that when I go into service toward others, then I can give from a place that's full. I know I have proper self-love when I can spend time alone and not get anxious or afraid of being alone. So when you think about it from that core, is that you are your own best friend. You are your own best confidant. You are your own best intuitive. And you don't need necessarily to turn to others to fill that for you. Now, that doesn't mean we don't need others, because in all of my books, most importantly, in the book Twin Flame Union, I write that we are social creatures. We need relationships. We are interdependent upon one another in relationship. It's sad if we do not have community and we don't have family and we don't have friendships. We need those things in our lives. Those are fundamental human needs. It's really interesting because I saw a documentary on Disney Plus on elephants. And this was something that was brought to my attention by going to Disneyland with my son. And they had little elephant statues there that were all decorative. And it was for this National Geographic and Disney documentary on elephants. It's very cute. If you have Disney Plus, I would say definitely check it out. But in the first episode of this series on elephants, it said that elephants need community. They are social creatures that need to live in a tribe. Now, humans are not any different than that. Humans are also social creatures that need to live in a tribe. Now, whatever your tribe happens to be, you know that. And that can vary, of course. But where we get into trouble in relationships, in the world, is when we don't have our fill of fundamental self-love. When we don't have our fill of acknowledging that we can receive love ourselves through divine connection to our Creator, which does come in the higher keys and the higher chakras for sure, but that we can fill our self-love by having those physical things that we call boundaries, by having those physical things that we call saying no, and knowing also when to say yes. Because sometimes we get on this kick of, I've had no boundaries for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And all of a sudden I swing to the other side and I'm like, I need boundaries. And you start having all these boundaries, but then you have high fences that also keep others out, which isn't healthy either. So it's about having this self-respect, self-love, respecting this physical thing that is your body. That's part of self-love. I'm just gonna say this to you, Twin Flame. If you're going off having sex like willy-nilly and being promiscuous, that is not showing yourself self-love. I'm sorry, but it's not. It's trying to fill a void, trying to fill a need that can be fulfilled in other healthier ways, but it's not being fulfilled in healthier ways because you're choosing not to. And so when you have the boundary of your own body even, and say, I'm only gonna let people into my proximity who are for my highest good, even to physical touch, then you know that you are giving yourself self-love. So through this exercise of self-love, I believe it is important for you to explore within this week, this month, whatever you choose, that you can start to write down all the things that you do to foster your sense of self-love. And also all the things you don't do to foster your sense of self-love. Are you trying to fill yourself up with something else? Are you trying to appease somebody else's ego? Or even trying to appease your own ego, right? Because we can do that too, Twin Flame. Okay, let me give you an example of trying to fulfill your own ego, which is a self-love misconstrued, right? It's self-love gone awry. It's self-love misconstrued. So for example, if you have Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever other social media is out there, and you have this distinct need to have your posts on Instagram, for example, noticed and liked and hearted and commented, and you are just obsessed with that. And you're like, whenever I post something, I need people to notice it, because you're trying to attract in some kind of love or affirmation from somebody else. But if you instead say, I love myself, and maybe I'm sharing a photo, an image, a moment of my life on Instagram, just share with my friends who are around the world, then it's like, I don't need that affirmation. I don't need the pat on the back or the accolades. I don't need it. It's just something I'm doing just to connect with others. The former, when you needed to have the like or the thumbs up or the hearts or the comments, when you need it like there's no tomorrow, then that is a lack of self-love. But when you maybe want it or desire it, or you just think like, hey, it would be cool to connect with other people, then of course that's showing yourself, well, I can still love myself. It doesn't matter if nobody is noticing me. In the same vein, you are feeding your ego through this third key if you are at your job and you're doing your job because you gotta do your job. You do your job because of many reasons, but one of the reasons to get a paycheck. Another reason might be to fulfill your life purpose or dharma. And if your work, your day-to-day work is not your dharma, then it just might be like, okay, I need to make a living. I gotta pay the bills. But if you're at work and you need your boss or your supervisor or the CEO of the company to notice everything that you have done and to acknowledge you and give you a pat on the back and give you a raise and give you a promotion, and you're just always looking for that affirmation. And if you don't get it, you're upset, angry, you feel frustrated, you go into victim mode. If that's the case, then you do not have enough self-love on the inside. Those are some red flags to notice if you are giving yourself enough self-love or you're not giving yourself enough self-love, or if you are trying to feed your ego through this key to self-love, or you are really working on filling your cup before being able to share with others. So I hope this was helpful, Twin Flame, to teach you a little bit about the key to self-love. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with other Twin Flames. And thank you so much for your support of my YouTube channel. You can buy one of my 10 published books. You can join a Twin Flame Divine Feminine Bootcamp, or I also have a meditation course online. And you can join our community by joining my group coaching. All the links are below. And I will see you in the next video.